one saw is what we call part G. So you've got this little trench here, and then you've got a slopey fella here. So start at the top fella. So you can do the marking knife, or you could do the chisel to get your tidy lines. Here I'm just going to come in a couple of, like a half a millimeter from my line. Just down to the line. Same on the other side. About half a mil. Now to take out this section, what I would probably do is I get my widest chisel I can find and I turn them upside down so the flat is up. Two hands behind the blade. And just jab it in from, say, the middle towards the edge. Now you'd slow down when you get to the edge, because if you push too hard you'll rip off that chunk there. Keep an eye on your line. Then come from the other side. Now, if you hadn't sawn down to the line, that lump will come out. So be very careful. Right, so that's the majority of it. Okay, if you weren't sure what you were doing, you could do the most of it out. You could probably clamp it down to the table and line up so you can see the line very clearly. And try and go with the grain as much as possible. Flip it over, come at it from the other side. So try and go with the grain if you can, rather than across the grain. So that's the majority of that out. I'm going to put it straight up. That half a mil I left, just going to give it a small wiggle, come down vertically, so the back of the chisel on the line. The chisel is sharp enough, that should go down. Okay. Yeah, and try and get a nice surface finish there. Right, this underside fella, put it in that way, get your saw the middle, but don't hit the line. Chisel upside down again. So that's the bulk of it. So now I'm just gonna turn the chisel bevel side up, flat side down, and I'm gonna get it right to the line. And I'm using my thumb to actually slice across the fibers, checking on both sides, making sure the blade is just kissing the line on both sides. Down to there, flip it around. Same here. So again, using the thumb to slice and adjust the angle to try and make sure you're on the line. But that will only work if the bulk of the timber is already gone.
What do you mean by bulk, sir?
As in most of it's already chopped up. And try and get one smooth cut at the end. Right, then the last two sides, we'll put it into the bench hook. Gonna take a bit of waste underneath. Cut this guy again. Like the last one, not on the line, like 1/2 mil back. And tidy that up with the block plane. So low on the voice, stop the vibration. Make sure there's very little on the block plane. Now you can see there he's trying to want to chip out at the end. So it's a case you could put a piece of wood behind it to support it and squeeze it. I'm going to just move to the wide chisel. I'm putting pressure down with my thumb, hands behind the blade. I'm going to slice across the grain. So you can see there, that's no good now. So you can see there, I chipped off. So that's the problems with using the block plane like that. If the angle is too steep, okay, or not enough to, it's going to chip out. Right. Yeah, you're right. You can't use glue. There's glue seen in the project. No good. Okay?
Just gonna have to hide it, I guess.
So, on this side, rather than using the block plane, see how I can slow down towards the edge there and use my thumb to slice across? I'm probably getting a better finish. Right? So, that's something for you to remember.
Can you only really do that though when you've taken most of it away from the line already? Yeah.
The bulk of it needs to be gone. So when you're making that saw cut,
make it close.
That 1/2 millimeter is ideal because I just have the line left. I have a tiny bit to go.
Okay.
Right, and the chisel will peel off that remaining section. And again, pressure downwards with the thumb, and you can see there's a shine coming onto the wood now, exposing the end grain, and all the saw cuts are gone. Right, so that fella is done. He is going somewhere here. So you're checking your fit. He will just about slip in. So, like a fraction of a mil. That's fine. Right, we've all these bits sticking out. There. I've come along and I've scribed around them with the pencil. Right, take this thing back apart. It only goes together one way, so you have to figure out what's the method to put it together at the end of the exam. And you don't want to lever stuff and try and pop them out the way they go in. This guy has the tail. Right. So any bits that needs to cut, again, I'm going to cut it as close as I can to the line. I'm going to put a bit of waste underneath so I can actually saw into the waste. So again, a tiny bit left on it, so that's that one done. The tenons here. I don't have to be precise if I know I've only got a 1/2 mil left on it. This tail. And there was the bridle joint here. Slightly more careful here because there's a gap going from one to the next. So I'm going to slow down there. So I don't break off the grain on the inside. Fire that off. Right. When it's together, you can see in the drawing that there's 2 arrows pointing to this component, which is this guy, which faces this way. And it asks you, shaping of the edges must be completed by the candidate. So that's asking you to do a chamfer, okay, freehand chamfer. So for freehand chamfer, it looks like they want the corner one. So what I'd be doing there is the corner, they don't give dimensions, so I'd be saying, right, that point there was roughly splitting the angle or bisecting the angle. I'll get a ruler. So I don't want to go back all the way to the edge. I might go back 40 mil looks all right. So I'll go back about 40 mil that direction. And I'll go back about 40 mil this direction. And so I want my chamfer to go from there roughly to there, and that point roughly to there. I'm going to come down this corner the same distance, so that looks about 8 or 9 halfway. I'll bring this guy back to that corner, and I want to go into the vise. This guy back to this corner. So I'm going to be putting a chamfer there, and what I might do is, you used to be able to put on a second chamfer kind of without being asked to do it. It's kind of like, I had loads of time left to my exam, I decided to do another one kind of a job.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do a flat stop chamfer on this component. So that is...
The one we did already. We did one before, yeah?
We would have, yeah. So I'd probably do it here. That's that component there. You'd like to make it even, so I'd probably come in about 20 mil here, come in 20 mil around here. So I'll say, right, between these 2 points I'll put it. I'm going to have, I don't want it too big, so I'll set the depth there like that and make that the same depth. And I'll be coming in around 45 degrees. No need to measure it, do it like that. Right, start with this fella. Now, you'd want to go with the grain. So with the grain, we'll be going this direction to get this point, okay? And you'd be going this direction to get this side. You would not travel this way because you'll just break off the grain, okay? So, and you'd start with this guy. This would be the harder fella to do. This would be the easier guy to do. So, two choices. You could use the block plane. Okay, you can use a block plane like that. I'm actually more comfortable using the chisel because I have more control. Again, sharp chisel, using your thumb, you take the bulk of the material off where it's wider. And again, you're kind of balancing between your two mark lines. You'd slow down there as you go towards the end. You're lining up your two lines. Thumb is doing all the work, just slicing the fibers. That's nice, and you've got a shine there, and it seems pretty flat. Next one, I'd be going this direction because I'd be going with the grain. I want to change the angle. You kind of hear it or feel it, whether you're going against it or with it. You'll know whether to push hard or to just slice it. Okay, so that'll be your chamfer. Probably could have taken less off. It's a bit pronounced, but it's fine. Chamfer's a chamfer. And then the extra one we decided to do is this guy. So here, stop chamfer. It's not the same as this because this was open on the end, whereas here it's tucked inside. So what I usually do is try and get around a 45-degree angle from here, and use the thumb to slice, stopping at the line on each side. Come in from the other side, try and get roughly 45 degrees, slice. There are my limits, I can't go past those points. You must have the chisel upside down, so flat up, and you're taking a bit off. Now, the higher the angle, the more you take off. The lower the angle, the less you take. So you can kind of finally adjust. You want to make sure you slow down at the end. Okay. Now, if you haven't hit the line with the 45-degree, make sure you hit them now. And then finish off. And you want a nice corner there at the end. Now, I can feel right there I'm about to go against the grain. Okay, so straight away just stop, because it'll just, you can see the grain is coming at an angle here. It'll probably start to chip out. So I'm going to go back this way and adjust and kind of peel it back. Now I'm going to break that here. And if you'd gone too low, how could you adjust it? If there's a bit peeled up there now, how could you fix it?
Go to the other side, make it wider.
You make it wider, yeah. You go down that tiny bit extra. So I'm going to change direction here, just to go with the grain. Finish that up. Okay, could probably do another minute. Let's tidy up. Right, last thing to do is put it together. So there's only a certain way it goes together. So we look at our drawing, we know the last thing you do is put in these mortises. So the halving joint, so this guy is facing upwards like that. This guy is facing down and in, so he goes together that way. You can squeeze him in the vise if you have to, but don't hit it with a mallet. This guy goes in this way. Top piece can go on after. So now this guy is here. They go in like that. I'm going to squeeze it in the vise in order to push them down all the way. Now, if they're down all the way, I've got that bit jutting out the end. Chisel, I've only got a 1/2 mil left to go, and you can see I'm weaving the chisel, or levering it. Thumb is putting pressure downwards. I would avoid using a block plane here, because it's going to chip off the end and split the ends of the pieces. So by only having about 1/2 mil left to come out, so the blade is doing all the work there, it's just slicing across it. Okay, and then your nail shouldn't get caught as you run it around. That's that one done. Got another one down here. You want to be going towards the inside of the piece. You wouldn't want to go that way, because you're splitting out. You can see the rings are going this way. I'm actually better off traveling this direction to go with the grain.
Because you're going into the wood.
You're going into the wood, exactly. It won't chip if you're going into the wood. Right, next piece is up there. Just easier to grab it in the vise. He's going down like that. Slips back in. Again, tidy this fella up. This one's a bit more awkward. I'll probably go from each side if I can. Okay, so you can see there, split off a bit. So that's why you'd want to go towards the middle like I said. Okay, so that one's kind of, that's not great now. Okay, it's just the point is a bit delicate. What's the last one? This fella is pointing inwards, like that. And then we've got that new piece going this way. So I sit him in there. Which way is he going? That way? Tight, he goes in. Right, did I miss anything? We've got 2 dowels holes there, and we've got a screw to do. So you can see there's a lot of fiddly bits that will happen afterwards. So for the screw hole, you'd drill a hole, pilot hole through there in the middle. That's where the screw goes in. And then for the 2 dowel holes, again, I probably should have done those while it was apart. So to take it apart again, but to manage that, for those, you would drill using a pilot hole through your center all the way through. Get your 9mm diameter bit, go halfway, come around and go through the pilot hole that where it exited and come halfway on the other side. If you go all the way through, it'll split or blow out the bottom because you cannot use a pillar drill, you have to use a hand drill.
So you're allowed to use a hand drill?
You can use a hand drill, nothing else.
Okay.
Okay, you can put in the screw with the impact driver, but you drill in the holes with a hand drill, no pillar drill, no sandpaper, no glue. Okay, and that's it done.
There's one of them between everyone.
No, there's one hand drill between everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.